So satisfying these different expectations naturally leads us to developing a strategy for hitting the mark, so to speak, on these new facilities. This strategy can be broken down into two important steps. First, lessons learned, and second, design quality. First, a quick story. Earlier in my career, I worked for a large theme park in Orlando, Florida. They found themselves spending a significant amount of money on their new projects immediately after opening to correct a variety of issues. So they asked me to research some of the past projects to figure out why. We generated a list of over 2,000 modifications that were made to these projects soon after opening. These changes were required to correct efficiencies, improve operations, and to generally bring them up to company and guest expectations. We reduced that list down to approximately 300 of the top recurring issues. The results of this study were very interesting. Almost 3/4 of the post-opening projects fell into just 3 categories. These categories were 1. Building envelopes and roofs, 2. HVAC systems, and 3. The building's exterior finishes. We then incorporated these findings back into the design process to make sure these issues were avoided on future facilities. Getting back to lessons learned, owners should research and take the time to visit comparable facilities. Establishing these relationships with other owners and operators is very important. You'll learn a lot from each other. There's a difference between facility and operational lessons learned. Facility lessons learned identify design, material, and installation issues, as we just discussed with the theme park example. Operational lessons learned deal with area programming, configuration, and the usability of the facility. This involves getting input from your different departments on their needs and wants. Operational issues vary, but one example is a new high school placed its varsity weight room on the floor directly above the school's administrative offices. The outcome of that decision was pretty obvious. They tried spending tens of thousands of dollars on a floor system that would absorb the noise, and it never worked. So when you complete a lessons learned study, the information should be documented in writing so it can be integrated back into the design process. It's a simple list of things to do and not to do. The goal is to hand that list to your design team and have them make sure that these issues don't happen on your project. As the old saying goes, those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. Regarding design quality, success of a new facility is won or lost during design. Once the design arrow has left that bow, it's very difficult to change the trajectory. Said another way, once the design documents are complete and the bid is awarded, the only real recourse for adjustments are costly change orders, and you end up paying for those change orders in a non-competitive environment. With that said, your design consultant needs to be the best in class for the type of facility you're building. The design consultant selection should be made through a competitive qualifications and bid process. This process should include a professionally prepared RFP with a detailed scope of work. Be sure to request design firm and staff experience as well as previous client references. An industry standard form of agreement should be included in the RFP but modified to favor the owner, not the design consultant. It's best that the design consultant have regional and national experience. This broader exposure gives them a deeper body of knowledge to draw from. One other very important point. Just because the designer is local and known to the owner doesn't mean they'll provide the best value and quality for your specific project. You want to avoid hiring friends, family, and especially fellow board members. Your new facility should meet or exceed the current design standards for similar facilities that have been recently constructed. The last thing you want to do is invest your time, effort, and emotion going through this construction journey and end up with a new facility that looks and performs like a 25-year-old building. Everyone will notice this immediately. You don't want to end up saying, "I wish we would have done that." In reality, choices are just trade-offs and regrets are unavoidable, but your decisions need to be based in a good decision framework that is explainable to the project stakeholders.